For a significant amount of human history, many territories were either conquered or to be conquered by those around them. To protect themselves, therefore, many communities went into peace treaties, a little like the United Nations that we have today. And so in the reality that surrounded most of Islamic history, the world was divided into various categories depending on the realities that surrounded the scholars at the time. And so for some scholars, such as the Maliki scholars at one time, though even within Maliki territory, Maliki being the juristic school of the Maliki school of thought, for them, they classified the world into Darul-Harb or Darul-Kufr, on one side being the abode of disbelief or the abode of war or warfare, and the Darul-Islam, which was the abode of peace or the abode of Islam, where Islamic rule was operating and Muslims were free to practice their faiths. For some scholars, however, it was different. They classified the world into three. There was the Darul-Islam, the abode of Islam, but they also recognized the Darul-Sulh or Darul-Ahad, which meant the abode of peace treaties, the abode of treaties and alliances between Muslims and non-Muslims, as we find existing throughout Islamic history. They also, of course, recognized the Darul-Harb, that there were abodes of aggressiveness where people had shown aggression, and these lands either needed peace treaties or they would have to be conquered, because if you don't conquer others, they form alliances with others to conquer you, as we find throughout most of human history. Hanafi scholars, however, classified the Darul-Islam to include places that might be under non-Muslim rule, but where Muslims were safe to practice their religion and share it with others. And so there was no unanimity in the definition of Darul-Islam or Darul-Kufr or Darul-Harb or Darul-Sulh. And what for one scholar was a Darul-Harb was for another a Darul-Sulh, and for another was still part of a Darul-Islam, because Muslims were still safe. This geopolitical way of dividing the world was not based on any explicit teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah, nor are the terminologies used based on the teachings of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or derived from any verses of the Quran and Sunnah, but they were a reflection of the scholars' assessment of the realities that surrounded them. Consequently, the scholars differed in their definitions. They differed in the number of categories with which they would classify the world into. And so other scholars added Darul-Shahada and Darul-Da'wah to that Darul-Shahada meaning the abode of witnessing, of living Islam, even if it was not under Muslim rule, or Darul-Da'wah, the abode where Muslims are free to share their religion with other people. So when we look at the fact that these classifications are not based on any explicit teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah, and were based on the convenience and reality of the scholars at the particular time assessing their own geopolitical realities, we find there is no binding nature of these definitions and classifications.